all of these very interesting surfaces. Textury, shiny surfaces. You know what they are? They're embossed. Welcome to Embossing 101. I'm going to show you how to emboss today because it adds some bam, bam to any of your card making projects, scrapbooking projects, anything that will handle a heat tool, okay? That's important to know. Okay, first of all, let's talk about some of the supplies that you absolutely have to have when it comes to embossing. You need embossing powders. You will find these powders in the embossing or usually in the paper or scrapbooking section of any craft store. Now, there's different types of embossing powders. There's thick enamel, which you see very grainy texture. And then there's a finer powder. These give you two completely different looks. And usually both of these types of textures come in a variety of colors. But let me show you the difference. This one right here is the fine powder, and this one is the thick powder. Do you see the difference? But I'll tell you what, this once it's on, you guys, it will not come off, and it looks absolutely amazing. And like I said, it comes in a whole bunch of different colors. Now, you use a pad to stamp with your design, or, which you have an embossing ink pad here, and you want to look for something that says embossing ink pad. They also have embossing pens that you can write with, which is exactly how I did my name. How cool is that? So you can follow designs that you already have and then enhance them with the embossing powders. The other must-have tools, a heat tool. This is essential. You can't emboss without a heat tool. You cannot put this in the oven. You have to have a heat tool. But you can use a heat tool for a lot of different things. So go ahead and pick one up. It's just basically one setting. It gets very hot, not for the kids to use, okay, Mom, just for you. And then you want to make sure, because you have a heat tool, that you have a heat surface to work on. So you don't want to be working on your grandmother's antique tablecloth. Yeah, I've done that. Okay, so this is kind of a flexible, heat-resistant surface. You could use your granite countertop, actually, but not your linoleum, because this baby gets up to between 300 and 400 degrees, depending on which kind of tool you have. So, bam, bam, bam. This is really powerful. Okay, let me just show you a couple of other different types of embossing powders real quick, because these are new, hip, trendy. Look at this one right here. Looks like rust. This one they call old paper. So when you're in the embossing sections, you'll see different types of powders, not necessarily colors, but textures. That's what really embossing is all about, is to give something a lot of texture. Okay, one other thing I like to do is to have a baby wipe or a wet paper towel off to the side, because I always like to clean my ink pad, or not my ink pad, but my stamp pad in between steps, just because, you know, if you're using a color, you don't want to mix colors or anything like that. And this is also handy to have a nice soft paintbrush, and I'll show you why in just a second. Okay, so let's continue embossing. We're going to emboss. Why don't we emboss on, keep right here on this surface. So here's all you have to do when it comes to embossing. What you want to do, oh, one other thing that's a nice little tip, is to have a piece of paper, something that's non-staticky, because when you emboss and your powder comes off, you want to be able to save your powder and put it back. So here's how you do it. You're gonna ink your stamp just like you would if it were, you know, regular ink, but this is clear, so you're not going to see it. So it's a little challenging. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put this one right here. Okay. Can you kind of see that? Okay. Then let's see. Let's go with purple. I love purple. Put a little purple powder on there. And this is why you want to have a piece of paper, because you know what? You want to save this powder. This is like purple gold right here. Okay? Just go like this. And what is this brush good for? Is this right here. You can go around the edges and get rid of any residual powder that you have, because whatever is left is going to be embossed. So for the last bit of it, do that. that over. And the reason why you want paper, it's non-staticky. And you just go like this and save the rest of my embossing powder. How sweet is that? Okay. And there you go. Put your little stamp pad over there. I have my heat protective surface here and my heat gun. Now watch and be in awe. You want to hold it and keep it moving just slightly above the surface. And you could concentrate on one area at a time if you have a large stamp, and then move it up as it becomes embossed. You will literally, let me see if I can hold this up for you. You will literally see it change texture and color. See it coming up? Look at that. That's it. If it starts to bubble, you're too close and you've held it too long, okay? You just want it to change. You'll just see it, just kind of a wave of texture and change come over. And then let it cool. Look at that. Fabulous. That, my friends, is embossing.